This was always going to be a difficult championship to win, and it's proving to be just that. This is the 24th and final race, and Chris Walker's lead is now just 12 points. If Neil Hodgson wins this one, Walker needs 4th place or better to lift the title. Anything less, and the championship goes to Neil Hodgson. We're not talking to anyone this time. They've got plenty on their minds.
Round 24, the final round of this year 2000 British Superbike Series, and very tense moments indeed. You can see the amount of people down pit lane straining over the hospitality balconies to see what is going to happen in this final showdown. And Walker's bound to get the whole shot. They come away now off the grid, and let's have a look, and it is going to be Chris Walker on bike number 2, and who does that surprise? And certainly not me. And Hodgson follows in his footsteps, almost a replica carbon copy of the earlier race this afternoon.
With one exception, up into 4th place has gone number 31, Michael Rutter, who's known as a wet weather specialist and qualified here on the front row in very, very wet qualifying conditions, but he's not usually reckoned to be a quick starter in the drive. He's made that front row position start count. He's in 4th place. Chris Walker, though, just 1 bike length away, Roger.
Well, this is on board with Neil Hodgson. Looking back, you can see Shane Byrne on bike 16, Neil Mackenzie on bike number 7, and what an emotional moment this is going to be for Neil Mackenzie, the final race of Neil Mackenzie's riding career. And coming into view, John Reynolds there on bike number 3, and these are the top 3, number 2 from number 4 from number 3, and these 3 were 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the championship last year, and absolutely fantastic to see the same 3 people battling at the front for the championship this year.
Well, the race is on, and we know full well now that one of them won't be here next year. The man in the middle of the 3 there, Neil Hodgson, number 4, who's lying 2nd in the championship, is moving to World Superbike after this race, or shall I say for the 2001 season, because he still has yet a World Superbike round to do at Brands Hatch, but he's in 2nd place. Enough of that. The race is on. Chris Walker, with a 12-point championship lead, leads the race here. So Chris Walker needs a top 4 finish. Whatever else happens doesn't matter. If Hodgson wins the race and Chris Walker is in the top 4, the championship goes to the Suzuki rider for the first time. 3 times he's been runner-up. That's why he's got the number 2 on the bike. The 2nd place man, Neil Hodgson, has been 125cc British champion. He has never won a Superbike title, so he is very, very keen indeed. John Reynolds was champion. He's the 3rd man in your picture back in 1992, and he would love to win it again, but he cannot this time. All he can do is spoil the party for the 2 men in front of him. Hodgson in front. Chris Walker may be a bit perturbed from a personal standpoint, but from a championship standpoint, that is far from a catastrophe for the Suzuki man. Having another look at Redgate, Walker in 2nd, Hodgson leads. He knew coming here he'd have to win both races to win the title, and he's not disappointing.
Chris Walker will be very comfortable with that 2nd spot. He'll be very pleased to follow Neil Hodgson around and let Hodgson set the pace. Whatever Hodgson does, as long as Walker's just behind him, then that's not a big problem. This is on board, and you'll see Chris Walker coming to view on the right-hand side of the screen. There he is on bike 2, and that was the passing manoeuvre into the chicane earlier on the previous lap. But John Reynolds is there trying to win this race, and James Hayden had to come from the 3rd row of the grid. And now, I could see Hayden in the background at chicane, but look how much closer he is now. I'd imagine that Hayden is the fastest man on the track. That caption said it all, that he got the fastest lap. So Hayden's now coming up, and that would mean that if Hayden could get in front, or Hodgson could get in front, and Walker could be pushed back to 4th, that would be the minimum position that Chris Walker could finish in.
I was about to say, Roger, James Hayden is gathering ground, hand over fist as up. Into 2nd place now goes John Reynolds. Chris Walker down in 3rd. Still not a major problem for him, but Hayden is really closing. Look at the 4th man in your picture there, number 5, James Hayden. Chris Walker in 3rd place, a 16-point position here. He leads the championship by 12. That'll give him 28 points. Even if Hodgson wins, the victory goes to Walker by 3 points. 3rd place will do, Chris. Neil Hodgson easing away. 3 machine lengths now, the gap, and John Reynolds still there in 2nd. He's on a 20-point place. There's Les, that's Chris Hall. Anxious times for everybody here. Paul Denning on the right, the Suzuki boss. Great consternation on his face. Chris Walker, though, thinks that maybe a 2nd place is on the cards. He's having a good look at the inside of John Reynolds, and he grabs it. Through goes Chris Walker, up to 2nd. second, putting yet another cushion in between himself and James Hayden, who has been advancing, and really coming close. James Hayden in 4th place, number 5, on the back now of his teammate in the Team Revy Racing Ducati squad. This is the move that Walker made on Reynolds.
Well, that was down at the old hairpin. That was 90 miles an hour, and what a clean move it was. Great to see Chris riding with so much confidence in this, the last race of the championship. He doesn't need to be doing moves like that, I have to say that, because we know that 4th place is good enough, but Chris Walker, by his very nature, and look how close he's now getting to Hodgson. He's having a go and he's through. He's now taken the lead. He wasn't content with 4th place. He wasn't content with 2nd place, so he's in the lead, and that's the way Chris Walker knows to fight and to try and win this championship.
Well, we all know it's the only way Chris Walker knows how to ride, and what a terrific campaigner he's been through the Year 2K season. He really has ridden the wheels off that Suzuki, come rain, come shine, wet track, dry track. Chris Walker has been the man there, dogging Neil Hodgson's attempts to win his first Superbike title. They are so determined. Tremendous entertainment they've both given us. John Reynolds still there, very much in touch. 9 wins for Walker, 7 wins for Hodgson. That's how close they've been, and Hodgson has taken the lead again, coming up to his favourite overtaking place into the right hand. And look at Reynolds round the outside, Reynolds in 2nd, Walker in the winking of an eye. Chris Walker goes from 1st to 3rd, but he's making another play here again on John Reynolds, who indeed is looking to win the race. John Reynolds, number 3, is going for the lead here, and James Hayden in 4th place, number 5, is really closing on Chris Walker. Hodgson's made the break though. 11 laps completed. Neil Hodgson is now 3 bike lengths clear. This is absolutely breathless stuff. It's no less than I would have expected the way this season has shaped up.
Well, this is on board with Neil Hodgson. You can see that he came down the outside of the track as Chris Walker was trying to run a defensive line in the middle of the road, and look at Reynolds. Reynolds came right round the outside, so Chris there demoted back from 1st down to 3rd in one foul swoop. But now it's back at the front, and a slight gap has opened up, and it's good that they're actually playing a bit of cat and mouse, and Hayden's coming up the inside of Walker, so Hayden's now through to take 3rd place. So Chris Walker in the lowest position he could possibly finishing if things stay the same. And what I was going to say was it's good that they're playing cat and mouse, because that's allowing them all to bunch up and swap places quite quickly, and Walker's swapped a place again because Walker's now back up to 3rd.
I tell you what else it's allowed. Neil Mackenzie, who's, oh look at Hayden at Craner Curves, back underneath Chris Walker. This is like round 1 in the championship, never mind the final race in the series. James Hayden with absolutely nothing to lose. The number 5 Ducati in 3rd place has got everything to gain. This is the time of the year when riders are talking to teams and sponsors about the next season, never mind this season. So James Hayden has got nothing to lose. Paul Denning on the right of your picture there knows full well that there's absolutely nothing less Chris Walker must do. If Hodgson wins this race, Walker must finish in a minimum. I know we keep saying it, but it's important that you understand just how dramatic this is shaping up to be. Chris Walker knows he has to hang on there in 4th place. Mackenzie is going, oh, Walker went very wide. Chris Walker went very wide, seemingly untroubled by another rider. What happened there? Calm it, says Les. Cool it, Chris, cool it. Don't throw it away. He's looking over his shoulder. Surely he's not got a mechanical problem. Maybe he's wondering where Neil Mackenzie is.
Well, I've got to say, it looks like he's got a problem, Barry. There has to be something wrong. He's not come into the picture yet. He's cruising down Craner Curves. Oh, no. This is drama indeed. He went wide into the chicane. It looked like he was making mistakes, probably through loss of concentration. But look at the team.
Well, they know there's a problem there. That's Colin Wright, impassive as usual. The Suzuki team know there is a problem with Chris, but he's still going. Lap 17, 22 laps the race distance. Oh no! The Suzuki has let go! The Suzuki has blown. Chris Walker can never bring that home. There will be an oil flag up. The team on the wall, the Suzuki team, cannot believe it. Les buries his head in his hands. This is unbelievably bad luck for Chris Walker, and there might just be oil on that rear tyre. The fans know the significance of this. There will be an oil flag, indeed there is. Chris Walker has to, he must retire that bike. and his championship hopes, his championship dream, everything he's worked for this year, and indeed 3 years previously, have literally gone up in smoke.
I can't begin to imagine how Chris must be feeling at this point. This is the fourth time, the fourth consecutive year that he's tried to win the championship. He's looked like he'd got it there, he's looked like he was bringing it home, and unfortunately the bike has let him down. That's going to be a huge, huge, huge disappointment for Chris Walker and his fans. Look at him there, the poor guy's in tears.
Well, my heart, I'm sure the heart of all the spectators, goes out to Chris Walker. The race goes on, and this cannot take anything away from the brilliant display that Neil Hodgson has put up. But Chris Walker is emotional, to say the least. He is absolutely distraught. The crowd love him. He's acknowledged as the fans' favourite, and that is the worst possible way that he could lose the title.
But let's not imagine that it's over yet, because he hasn't lost the title, because as we sit at the moment with, I know, only 2 laps to go, but Chris Walker still is in the lead and anything can happen, as we've just seen. Yeah,
that's true. That's absolutely true. We have to lift ourselves here because the race is still on with 2 laps to go for Neil Hodgson. Hayden has gone past him. James Hayden is currently leading this race, so he is finishing his year 2000 campaign in great style. Chris Walker taking the longest walk of his life back to the pits, and no words that anyone can express will make him feel any better. I just know that. Chris Walker's championship hopes in tatters, and where does he go from here? Well, we hope to see him next season, of course we will. Whether it will be on World Superbike or indeed British Superbike is anyone's guess, but he has delivered big time over the last 4 years, and he'll be back to fight again next year, whether it's in this championship or the World Championship. And indeed he has one more World Championship race to do at Brands Hatch. But on the final lap, number 5, James Hayden, with Neil Hodgson in second place, champion designate Neil Hodgson, the number 4 Ducati, who already has his plans sewn up for next year. He is moving. There's Darrell Healy, team owner, grinning from ear to ear. He's a man who rarely shows emotion, and this is it. Just hold it all together, Neil, and bring it home. The checkered flag is in sight for Neil Hodgson. The year 2000 British Superbike champion is in runner-up spot, and that puts it 8 points out of reach of 4 Chris Walker. What a drama-packed day here at Donington Park it's been. And Colin Wright, that's his 2nd consecutive British Superbike title as team boss. And Neil Hodgson now knows for sure that he's won the title, because he will have got the message that Chris Walker is out. Confirmation of that result. Hodgson 2nd, Hayden got the win, Reynolds, McKenzie a brilliant 4th. What a way for him to go out. Anthony Gobert, our visiting Australian, was in 6th place. Final standings, 8 points the gap. Hodgson lifted the title by. Walker, 4 years runner-up. Reynolds 3rd again. Both James Hayden and Neil McKenzie improved on their result of last year, and there's some new young names there we'll be seeing next year, I'm sure.
Neil, British champion, how does it feel, mate?
Definitely not sunk in. I don't know. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I saw the red spotted board with a number 2 on it, and I knew what that meant. And then my concentration just went totally. I was just in another world. It was very, very strange.
A word for Chris. A word for Chris. He broke down. Yeah, well,
you know, it's been an incredible year, and it's a shame it had to end that way. But that is racing. You know, you have your ups and downs. And Brands Hatch was a disaster for me, and Chris has rode awesome all the year, and you know, it's strange. It's really strange. I do deserve it, but no one wants to see it go out that way.
Congratulations from us all.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all the support. That the BBC have been great, and the coverage on on Grandstand's been second to none. So thank you.